earlier.
Here's one I made 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 earlier.
Welcome to Here's One I Made Earlier, the Bluefish YouTube channel that attempts to be like a TV show, not like a YouTube video. Because I try and make more TV. I'm trying to make things like TV rather than like your standard YouTube videos. Today we're talking about who are the new Blue Peter presenters and how has Blue Peter managed to stay in the same field, in the same way, in the same style as it does throughout the throughout the time in the industry, like CBC closing studios, as in like moving studios wise, and things are changing left, right, and centre. But first, before we go any further, without further ado, please let the Blue Peter presenters, current Blue Peter presenters, Abby Cook, Joel M, and Sheeny, I do apologise, I don't know her last name, please let them introduce themselves right now in their very own words, like in the title of a Channel 5 programme.
I'm Abby. I'm the 42nd Blue Peter presenter. When I found out that I'd be the next Blue Peter presenter, I was absolutely shocked. My favourite snack are pickles. I love dinosaurs. One of my favourite things to do is wheelchair racing. My favourite thing in the whole world is my dog Tato.
I'm Joel.
Describe yourself in 3 words. Forgetful, high energy, and magical. What's your favourite emoji? The laughing face one. Would you rather have a dragon or be a dragon? I would rather have a dragon. Can you lick your elbow? No.
I'm Sheeny, and I'm Blue Peter presenter number 43. That sounds quite cool to say. When I found out I was going to be the next Blue Peter presenter, first of all, I thought everyone was pranking me. I was like, guys, be for real. I'm vegetarian and my favourite snacks are olives.
Let's hit the spot. I love to read a lot.
I'm Malaysian Tamil and I love wearing all things cultural, including the bangles and the bindis. I just love all of it. I used to play badminton for Staffordshire County for 5 years. Ready?
There you have it. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Now you know a little bit more about our current Blue Peter presenter team, and now I can talk about my thoughts and feeling on the current state of Blue Peter. Now, my opinion of the Blue Peter presenters at the moment is I think they're absolutely amazing, right? First of all, I don't know, someone can probably enlighten me, I don't know whether I can't think of the word, but their relationship beforehand, as in whether or not they knew each other before, or the chemistry, that's what I was looking for, whether or not they had chemistry beforehand, or whether or not when they were doing the Blue Peter presenting thing, to do a chemistry test. I don't know about that in the audition process, but what I do know as a Blue Peter viewer, their chemistry, I was watching a programme about Richard and Judy, Richard Madeley and Judy Finnegan, which is a documentary about them, and they talked about how what made This Morning work is that their chemistry was perfect from day one. Now, I know that when Abby joined Mwaxi, I do apologise if I mispronounced the name, was there, so I think that Sheeny joining, the chemistry then will have shifted slightly. But when Joel joined, there was a different connection. So I think these lot, I think when you watch Sheeny's first episode, and you try and work out whether or not the chemistry is there, you automatically know that Sheeny's perfect for this, right? And you automatically know that this is where Sheeny belongs. Same when you watch Abby Cook's first episode, you know that it's where Abby belongs. And then when you watch Joel's first episode, because to be fair, on Joel's hands, Joel's a magician. Joel's prior thing is a magician. From doing research to try and find the thumbnail photo, I come across, and he already does magic online, so he already had a presence in this filming malarkey. So I think that he was already going to be perfect. It was just going to be like, look at this tide, look at this tide, look at this tide. It was going to be like, right, I'm just going to go an abseil down this cliff. No, I'm just going to go in a plane and I'm just going to spin upside down. It was a lot more of detail. It was a lot more in a different field. Since he's joined, and since Abby's been there, they've had a lot of magician stuff, magic stuff on it that Joel's been able to involve himself in and be in his element. And I think that what Blue Peter does now, and I think he's done it for years, but I think you notice it now because there's a lot more online things, so you know slightly more about these people. So I think a lot of, let's say, because Abby's a wheelchair racer, there was the marathon stuff within her wheelhouse, and that worked perfectly. Joel doing the stuff about Harry Potter and doing all the other magic bits where he interacts with the magic people, that's in his wheelhouse. And then because Sheenie's got, when you watch her welcome and meeting her video, because she's got a lot of skills, I think that she just adapts really well to everything. And her wheelhouse, I think personally, was when she went on stage in Aladdin. I think that learning lines, performing is her wheelhouse. So that whole segment, which was a few weeks ago now, worked really well, and I think that it fit really well for Sheenie. Because what it is when you watch certain segments when they do all these challenges, you know that that's perfect for that person, because if you did it the other person, you wouldn't have. There's elements. I know that Blue Peter is one of those things that anyone could have done it, but I just think certain elements like the bit when they go around when they have the Blue Peter superfan with the Harry Potter stuff, that is in Joel's wheelhouse because Joel does magic, and because that's Joel's thing, it works in that wheelhouse. And I think that what this team has done and what Blue Peter is doing now is evolving, really, because they've got the book badge, and it helps when it just helps because the book badge helps involve and says, well, more young people need to read. And I know that I think there is a statistic, and some number somewhere, I think I read a few years ago, that there's a high percentage of younger people. I think young people end at 25. Young people read. I think an Audible is many more accessible for people to engage in the literary world, and I think the Blue Peter book badge helps that. If you want to hear more about the book badge in a lot more detail than what I'm giving, I interviewed Abby Cook last year, and mainly about Abby Cook is a Blue Peter presenter, but I focused slightly bits on the new book badge and talked a bit about it. So if you want to see that, go and check that. Go and look at that on the Weird Side. I would put a clip in here now, but this is more about everyone rather than specifically. I might utilise it in the future, but not right now. The only thing I have problem with Blue Peter, not as in like this is a problem, more of a, this is weird, is that halfway through, and I know there's no gaps between Blue Peter, not series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like Countdown, there's 89 series, they're in a stopping gap in this. So I think in the last few weeks, we stopped using the big badge wall. My key question is, why? I mean, showing the posts and the stuff that the audience are doing to earn their different Blue Peter badges is still there with the visual screen. But where's the big badge wall gone? I know that we use a visual big badge wall if we've not got enough time, or there's too much to show and you can't really fit it on a massive sign of a badge. But where is the big badge wall? I want to know if we scrapped it or we kept it. So if anyone can enlighten me on that, that'll be appreciated. And that's what I wanted to talk about. So the evolution of Blue Peter now is the only thing I can say that's been involved, other than when you try and add it so that it works to the newer audience, and it's just generally just being on CBBC and generally just doing the thing that they do. Sort of just caters for that audience automatically. But I think the Big Brother Wall shift into digital is slightly an order change. It wouldn't be an order change if we solely did it. It's just like one day it was gone. It wasn't a gradual disappearance. It was just a, where is it? It's just gone. And they don't even call it the Big Brother Wall section anymore, which is odd. I think it's an odd thing that it has just vanished. I do think that this Blue Peter team should. It's like when you. I'm gonna use a good example due to the array of background, because my Blue Peter stuff is actually in a lower shelf, so I couldn't actually position it in the background. But with Doctor Who, in New Who terms, which is 2005 to current, the Doctors usually. Not always, Christopher Eccleston is an exception, usually stick around for 3 series. That has been the trend. I think that, like Blue Peter is the thing where it regenerates every so often. That's why Blue Peter and Doctor Who have stuck around so long, because it's never the same thing. So after a while, the actor or the presenter choose to leave, and then we get a new presenter in, so then it's like, oh, the programme's fresh again and whatever. So I think that this Blue Peter team, so John Craven and Connie Hook are the people to be in the list of longest running Blue Peter presenters. So I think that Sheenie, because Sheenie is still new, Abby is technically in the brackets of not been there long, but I think Joel started in 2022, so Joel's been there slightly longer. So I think if we're going to have a bet on, if we're going to use that turn of phrase, I think that this current presenting team will stay with us, I'm gonna say, for about 20 years. My estimate is 20, but realistically, I think it'd be about 8 years. Realistically, as a collective, they'll all choose. So they started together with the 3 this year, then 8 years later, I think they'll leave at the same time. I don't think it'll be one more go than another. I think they'll all go at the same time, because I think that their chemistry is perfect. The items that they've produced since they've been together has been amazing. Every Blue Peter previous has been incredible, but on a 2024 standpoint of now, this is like the best thing. I think one of my favourite things, so I mentioned the Aladdin, which is my favourite Sheenie moment. This is the out of the Blue Peter studio, what I think that makes it, everything they do is perfect in the studio, but my favourite things that are filmed later out of the studio is the Aladdin thing for Sheenie, and for Joel and Abby, I think for Abby, it's got to be about the marathon, because I didn't know, it was that bit was educational, because I didn't know how that worked. I didn't know, I don't know much about, I don't know if you notice ever, but I don't interact in sports. I'm not a sports person, so I don't really watch the London Marathon. I know of it. I've seen it once before, because I think one of my teachers years ago did it once, but I don't know too much about the marathon. So I'm learning about the marathon in itself. I'm learning about how it works for Abby. It's interesting, and I think for Joel, on his own, it's a tricky one, that, because he's done a lot, and I'm going to have to say my favourite one is the Harry Potter one. I do not like Harry Potter, but I do think that it matched with what is said about Joel. When Joel says, I'm a magician, then, well, surely if you're going to go and see behind the scenes of the stage of the Harry Potter, then that works for Joel. The other one, I think, for Joel, was, and I was trying to think about this before, I couldn't remember it, so I had to same with the others. But I think it's a bit where the Doctor Who bits, I think any bit that was Doctor Who-y, I think is the best bit. I think when Joel was in the prosthetics department, getting all the green prosthetics on, I think that is my favourite Joel moment of all time. Close to the second by the Harry Potter thing, not because it's Harry Potter, just because it matches with Joel. It worked, they partnered up very well, them two. I think my favourite Joel and Abby moment, because I've got one, is got to be, I can't remember what it's called, but it was like a go-kart type thing. And they had the race, and they were trying to see who beat each other. I think that was really good. Sheenie in the aeroplane for her first challenge was really good. I think Joel, I think it was Joel, remember rightly, doing the sciencey bits in the studio with the fart. That was interesting. And watching making urine, it was interesting. I think a lot of Blue Peter now is matches really well, entertain, educate, and inform. But I think inform and educate are the same. But the remit, I think it works really well. So to round off this year, I think the Blue Peter as a whole isn't going to go anywhere, because I think it stayed the same, as in the format hasn't really changed. But I think the stuff they do has evolved so that it matches with the landscape of TV. I don't think they're ever going to move out that studio, which I hope not, because it's a perfect studio. Henry is a Blue Peter presenter technically, but he is a dog, so that's why I haven't mentioned him in this video. I think that the presenting team, Sheenie, Joel and Abby, are incredible and shouldn't leave ever. And I think that the Big Bad Wall disappearing is something that anyone watching this might be able to inform me on that, because I think that's slightly odd, but it's not that odd. So overall, Blue Peter is still fantastic, and anyone, even if you haven't seen Blue Peter in years, you better watch it now, because it still is. It's still, as you remember, it's still perfect. You might have watched it in the 80s, watch it now. You might not even have children, but still watch it now. If you were a fan of Blue Peter then, when you were the age of an average Blue Peter viewer, watch it now, because it hasn't changed at all. Technology and all that will have evolved since the last time you watched it, but the presenting team are still as friendly and as interesting and as amazing as all of them before. And hopefully one day, in, I don't know, 60 years, in another, we get to like 90 or 90 or 300, hopefully we get 300 years old or 90 years old or whatever. Hopefully at some point in the future we'll get to 100 Blue Peter presenters, but at the moment I'm happy with the Blue Peter team we've got. Thank you guys for watching. Tom Bye. That was one you watched earlier.